This episode of Model Behaviour is dedicated to the loving memory of wrestling legend Terry Funk. Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying Model Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk about the nerdy news that you need to know about. It's the only news that matters. It's good news. And on today's show, we are going to kick things off with some reveals by Mafex. Oh, my old nemesis. I'm not happy with my Scarlet Spider's leg breaking, but am I going to completely boycott the company? No, of course not. Why? Because I have no principles and I just want to buy the pretty action figures, even though they burn me. They burned me real bad with that broken Scarlet Spider, but you know what? They're doing an Eradicator figure. And I'm already 2 figures into the reign of the Supermen with Steel and with... Come on, Steel, I don't want to look... Cyborg Superman, there you go. Wow, you could feel the cogs turning in my head there. Yep, I've got 2. They're doing Eradicator. We've got Superboy on the way as well. Of course I'm going to want to get those, so... You win this round, Mafex, but there will come a time when probably something else will break and I'll be annoyed about it and then still buy your figures. Why? Because they still look really good. Eradicator was the one that I was least excited about, and I had no real interest in this character. I would have only got him to be a completionist, and then I see these pictures, and it's like, well, dang it. I mean, for a figure that I'm not that invested in, he actually looks really good. Look at the grimacing face. That's what you want. A bit of passion and anger and, detail in the expression. And we're getting it there with the blasters coming off the hands there. It looks cool. I really do like the look of it. We don't have a price yet or a release date, but I'm guessing it's going to be a little while because we haven't had that information. So I'm thinking probably the better part of a year. We are going to have to wait, which sucks when I think that we've seen the Age of Apocalypse prototypes only, which means probably a couple of years before we get those. But hey, in that time, my Mafex rage will have subsided, and this goes a long way towards doing that. And also, they're doing Captain America from the first Avenger, the original Captain America costume. And I got to say, looking at this still stands up as, I think, possibly the best MCU Captain America costume. It baffles me and still boggles my mind that they had this awesome costume that was from the 1940s, and then they decided, no, we need to make a modern, better looking one for the actual Avengers movie, and they gave him that god-awful looking, just weird bodysuit with the chin covering, and just, he looked like such a dork in the Avengers. And I was like, that's the only caveat I have with that Avengers movie is how bad the Captain America costume looked. But these two together, these look like great examples of Mafex doing a good job. So dang it, I ain't happy with you, Mafex, but when you keep putting out figures like this, it makes it real hard to quit you. And I hate that. But also, I'm embracing it, because I'm not going to get Cap, but Eradicator, that's a guarantee. Got to complete the reign of the Supermen, and then in a year or two, when the Age of Apocalypse comes out, I know I'm going to be all in on that, so dang it, it's tough being a toy collector with principles. Or I imagine it would be. Clearly, I'm not one. A company that I personally have a slightly better track record with is Mezco, and they are doing their Indiana Jones villain. I just forgot his name. Toht? Something like that. We all just remember him as the guy from the Raiders movie who melts at the end, as opposed to Belloc, whose head full-on explodes. Still can't believe that we had those in like PG-rated movies back in the 80s. We saw stuff as children that we really shouldn't have. Lucky it didn't affect my mind in anyway. So Mezco are doing, I'm going to call him Toht. It's not right, but I'm going to stick with that just for ease of use for this segment. And again, it's Mezco. It's what you expect. Also, bear in mind, there are going to be some gnarly, gruesome pictures coming up here, because Mezco didn't hold back with recreating his final look for the movie. So what we've got here, it just looks like what you come to expect with Mezco, which is generally really great stuff. You're going to go with the Indiana Jones Harrison Ford figure. You can put these two together. You're starting to build up a very impressive soft goods Indiana Jones wave right here. So the facial likenesses, they look really decent, but really what it is the cloth goods, the accessories. And also he's got his red hot poker. He's got the scar on his hand as well. There's some really nice attentions to detail. Plus, the Ark of the Covenant itself. I mean, this is a big box set. This is $112, which for the figure and all the accessories, like, I can see where the money's going there. I don't think it's too egregious. It's a big chunk of change, but it depends on how big of an Indiana Jones fan you are. The fact that you can get a light up spirit coming out of here as well, that is really cool. So you want to put him with his melty face standing like behind the Ark with the spirit coming out. That's a hell of a diorama piece. All right, brace yourself now, because these pictures are going to get pretty gruesome. We're going to get melting accessories. So you can see he's got melting hands with all the flesh dripping away. And like, this was done back in the 80s where there was no CGI. So this was all, you could tell it's like claymation, stop motion animation. It looks like they had like wax figures maybe that they melted under a hot light or something. Yeah, gross. Nightmare fuel. For a young kid, I was like 5 when I saw this. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. So, thanks for that, Mezco. But yeah, there you go. Toht. Major Toht. There you go. Major Toht to ground control. This figure's going to be coming out apparently around about this time next year. We'll wait and see. You know, when it hits our shelves, that's when it's coming out. Mezco, I love you guys, but I got zero faith in your release dates, okay? Unless something is available like now, I'm not buying any of your release dates. Nonetheless, though, this is a fun little addition to your Indiana Jones collection. Are we going to get more indie figures? Well, if these things sell well, then I can imagine the answer is going to be yes. Time will tell. McFarlane are going back to their Page Punchers figures, but this time with Stranger Things. So we've had the DC Direct ones with a DC comic in there. They've done Spawn ones as well. Now we're getting the Stranger Things kids. And again, I really love this as a concept, as a way of getting people who might not be into action figures or comics into collecting. And we got to get more people. We got to drag more people down with us. All right, if we're gonna fall down the money-sucking rabbit hole of action figures and comics, it's good to get more civilians involved. So if you have a friend who is a big Stranger Things person and they got a birthday coming up, we got Christmas a couple of months away. It's crazy to think that that's the case. Once Halloween is over, boom, we're gonna be barrel rolling into Christmas. And this for $16.99 is a great little set to pick up for someone who is like, hey, you watch Stranger Things with them, or you talk about it over the water cooler. This is one of those things where it'll be like, hey, I know you don't read comics, I know you don't collect action figures, but how about this really nice looking gift pack here? There you go. Happy birthday. I said the same thing for Batman when they did the Batman Page Punchers or the DC ones. It's just a great little gift type set. And for $16.99, that's not going to break the bank either. This is, even if you're from one of those highfalutin families, this is like a little stocking stuffer right here. It depends on how much you spend on stocking stuffers. But what I'm saying is, they look cool. They're very basic, small little action figures, limited articulation, but just as a fun little set to get people into this kind of thing, I think it's really cool. So yeah, keep an eye out for these, because the more Page Punches, the merrier. I think it's a really good little gateway into this wider world of money-sucking addiction. Over to Hiya Toys, and they are doing a 1/18th scale Dr. Spock from the 2009 Star Trek movie. So the kind of soft reboot timeline jiggle that they did. So this is going to be $25. So that sounds like a decent price for what you're getting here, but bear in mind it is 1/18th scale, so it's much smaller than your 1/12 6-inch figures. But Zachary Levi? Is that the name of the actor? Or am I confusing him with the guy who plays Shazam? I don't know actors or names or dates or history or places or economics or anything particularly useful. I was going to say I know action figures, but I don't really know those either. What do you know? How to put out a lot of YouTube content. That's what your old pal Dave specializes in. And yeah, it's a good-looking Spock. Star Trek was never my thing. I always had an appreciation for it, I never had a love for Star Trek. I was always more of a Star Wars man. Speaking of which, I gotta go watch those first couple of episodes of Ahsoka. Well, maybe that's for another time. Nonetheless, though, this guy, he looks kind of cool. Speaking of Star Wars, Hasbro are doing a Shadow Trooper helmet, which is just a black recolor of the original one that they put out, but it looks kind of cool and badass. $104 coming out July of next year, so you can have about a year to wait for it. I mean, there's not too much to comment on. You can literally see it right there. I think if you at least want to maybe recreate the ending of Jedi, you can get a few different Star Wars helmets, put them on some stumps, play them with the bongos, pretend you're an Ewok. What the heck? Go nuts with it. And yeah, look, Stormtroopers, all in that kind of chrome black look, they do look pretty badass, actually. So yeah, it's just a nice little full-size prop if that's the kind of thing you're after. I know a lot of people are. These things, they seem to sell pretty well. Back over to McFarlane, and of course it's a Batman figure. A GameStop exclusive this time for $50. You can pick up Batman and the Raptor, his trike? Is it a bike or a trike? It looks like a trike. And this is based on the Hush Batman right here. I gotta say, I mean, $50 for the figure and the trike, I mean, okay, but it's that Batman face. Don't know how I feel about that, which is a shame, because I do like the Hush colors. The big black bat symbol, the navy blue, like it looks cool, but that face, I don't know about that. Especially if you're riding the trike and you can see he leans forward on it, you're going to be catching a lot of bugs. That's probably what I can hear this Batman saying. He's literally looking at me going, it went in my mouth. It went in my mouth. That'd be a weird gift to take from this episode. But yeah, so is this the same head, the same Batman head and mouth shape that comes in the Spawn 2-pack? Because I feel like that has a similar kind of look to it. So not a great looking Batman, to be honest, but it's fun to throw in some more Batman vehicles. But for $50, it's not the most enticing sale to me. Especially when the Batmobile was like $80, and that was a much bigger thing right there. But hey, it's another McFarlane Batman, so I'm sure it's going to sell like hotcakes. 3-0 are once again encroaching on the Hot Toys side of things by doing a 1/6 scale Edgrin Darvis. Is that his name? Edgrin Darvis. Yes, from Dungeons & Dragons. This guy is going to be released around about the fourth quarter of this year. It's going to retail for about $180. I just wanted to get all that information out while it was still hovering around in my brain. Now I can kind of relax and we can just look at the pretty pictures. And I got to say, they are very pretty. Dungeons & Dragons was a genuine little sleeper hit of this year. I was going to say last year. No, it was this year. And it's such a shame that it didn't do better. I heard that, just from the scuttlebutt, that the movie got it got great reviews, but not many people went to see it. And I can understand why. We're oversaturated with a lot of big movies that kind of disappoint. And this was a big movie. Well, a big, blockbuster-looking CGI type fest that I would have seen and gone like, I don't know if I'll bother with this. But actually, it's really good. Genuinely, it's funny without being too Joss Whedon quippy. It's just a genuinely amusing action adventure story. Hugh Grant's great in it. The whole cast are. So big recommendation for Dungeons & Dragons if you haven't seen it. It's a good time. And also Hasbro made some really good figures as well. Like it deserves more. I don't think we'll ever get a sequel, which is a shame because I don't think it made that much money, but it deserved to make more. And it deserves to be immortalized in 1/6 scale figures, just like this one. Because yeah, looking at these facial likenesses and whatnot, I gotta say, it's not quite Hot Toys. But it's cheaper than Hot Toys too. And also 3-0, they've done a really good job. So yeah, I like the look of this. More love for Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves. That was a good movie. Got a good action figure too. Hot Toys. Speaking of Hot Toys, they've teased over on their Facebook page Sabine Wren. Is that her name? I think that's her name. From the Aksoka show. And all it is just literally just this one little promo picture. So you can't really see too much, but what I am seeing is a Mandalorian with a lightsaber. That's like Darth Vader riding a shark. It's just two cool things together. So yeah, I still have to watch Ahsoka. Well, I don't have to, but I want to. That's the big difference. I actually do want to see this. From what I've seen, it looks good. Rosario Dawson, she's always great. So I'm going in there with an open mind. I'm hoping I'm going to enjoy the experience. And if this character pops up and they act as badass as they look in this here picture, well, then they're probably going to warrant a hot toy. And it looks like hot toys are going to deliver. So more on this one when we find it. Speaking of sexy previews, Revoltech have shown off a preview image of their Agent Venom. Oh my god! Every single time we talk about a Revoltech figure, I keep going, this is the one that really lends itself to the Revoltech style. But you know what I'm saying? This is one that really lends itself to the Revoltech style, because Agent Venom, the way the symbiote makes up his costume, it is all these solid armor pieces that kind of flow and flex and blend in together. This is just a gorgeous Agent Venom. I tend to only collect like classic characters. I sort of stop around the 2000s, but man, this could be tempting. This could be real tempting. With all the tendrils and everything holding the guns. This is the upgrade to the Marvel Legends one we got all those years ago that we've been asking for. No ball-jointed hips on this one. Granted, it's Revoltech hips, which you might dislike even more. Me personally, I really like them. I can see this guy. I can see him joining my shelf because we haven't even seen the full reveals. We don't know everything we're getting with this figure. I hope maybe an unmasked Flash Thompson head. Actually, I doubt we'd get that, but I'm sure different sized eyes, maybe even a venomed out head. That would be really cool. I don't know, but just looking at this at a glance, it looks nice. It looks real nice. And I think we're going to be at least a year away before we actually see this figure on shelves. That seems to be the timeline. I was saying similar with the Mafex. You get the reveal picture, and it's a long old wait. Build a bit of anticipation, but it's alright, because in between this, we got Moon Knight coming out, we got Thor coming out. There's enough stuff to wet our beaks in until this guy hits, and when he does, we're going to be real tempted to get him. Especially, I can see that they've recreated that kind of beetle, insect, armor kind of texture look on some of his shoulder pads and his leg pads and stuff. God, they put a lot of love into this figure, and it shows already. So, yeah, I might be tempted. NECA are continuing their dominance of the horror landscape with Puppet Master. I've never seen any of the Puppet Master films, but they definitely do have a cult following. And now we're getting this 2-pack here. I'm sorry, I forget the names, but looking at them, I want to say Jester and Gunslinger. Is that right? I think that might be right. And yeah, I'm not familiar with the characters, but NECA always do what they always do, which is make almost spookily accurate recreations of characters. Especially like these things are puppets. They're not real humans, so therefore you can easily recreate this in an action figure form, and that's where I wouldn't want them. The same reason I don't want Chucky figures, because it looks too much like the terrifying thing on screen. I love horror movies, but I want them to stay in the movie verse. I don't need these things on my shelf, because honestly, I would probably not sleep that well at night with these two characters looking over me. Everything else on here, these are the bright, happy, cuddly action figures. That's okay. I don't need action figures that actually look like something that will come to life and murder me in my sleep. Nope. Not for me. However, if it is for you, then you can pick up the 2-pack for $35, which is pretty good for a 2-pack. I mean, they're going to be smaller than your average figure, but still, they look really well put together. I just don't want them on my shelf. But maybe you do. Sticking with NECA, they are also doing Lily Munster from Rob Zombie's Munsters movie. Easy for me to say. And this is one of those ones where I feel like NECA, dang it, I think you maybe backed the wrong horse on this one. Considering how long it takes to make action figures, I guess they thought that, Rob Zombie doing a Munsters movie, people are going to like that. That might be a cult favorite. Let's make a whole bunch of action figures. And then they're like, oh no. I'm sure they saw at least the trailer and went, oh no, this looks awful. And yeah, I can't help but think that maybe they've spent a lot of money that they've invested into these figures that I don't know how many people are going to want to commemorate and immortalize the Rob Zombie Munsters movie, because, yikes. Then again, maybe that's why the sewer lair is so expensive. They're like, look guys, I know $300 is a lot to ask, but look at the tooling. Look at all the work we spent on these Munsters figures, which no one's buying. So help us out with the sewer lair. That's all I can imagine. Because also looking at the Munsters figures, they look really well made. I mean, just genuinely, they look like they've had a lot of money spent on them. And I hope that NECA can break even with them. But, geez, I don't know, man. Are there any Rob Zombie Munsters fans out there? If you are there, comment below, let me know. Tell me I'm wrong. But I don't know. I can't see it myself. I just can't see it. Over to SH Figure Arts, and they are doing 3 Ultraman figures. The names of these different characters, I forget, because I'm looking at the pictures right now and I don't have their names up. Is one of them called Taro? Or Lofi? Or Zoffy? I don't know. I'm not an Ultraman person. But if you are, you can buy them for $55 each over at Big Bad Toy Store. And look, SH Figure Arts, the Spider-Verse Gwen Stacy was my first Figure Arts figure, and she won me over to the quality that goes into these. I'm still not always a big fan of their thigh cuts. It looks like all of their characters are wearing sexy thigh-high boots. You know, I feel like they stick out quite a lot. But besides that, which I can kind of look past it. So besides that, I think they are really, really great figures. And if you're a big Ultraman person, I'm talking about things I'm like, there's no one who's a fan of the Munsters, but obscure Japanese old movies? Clearly, there's going to be tons of fans of these. Well, certainly enough to do 3 brand new figures for them. And ultimately, being SH Figure Arts, I dare say, they're going to be pretty good quality as well. Over to Storm Collectibles, and they are doing King of the Fighters 2002 Kyo Kusanagi. Can you tell? I'm not a King of the Fighters expert. If only they were doing more Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter figures, even Tekken figures, I'd be able to tell you who they are. But this is definitely a slightly more obscure fighting game. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, I'm not going the Munsters route or the Ultraman route. I'm not saying, oh, no one knows this. Of course people know it. They wouldn't make action figures if they didn't. But I'm not familiar with King of the Fighters, so this is just a tease, obviously. But if you are a big King of the Fighters fan, then maybe this is something to get excited about. It still baffles me that, let's face it, Jada Toys are eating Storm Collectibles lunch. I had to think about how to complete that sentence. Words are hard sometimes. But when it comes to Street Fighter characters, Jada Toys, they're like, A, they're like, we're doing Street Fighter. Great. B, they bring them out and they're like, oh my goodness, this is really good quality. And then C, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we got this next wave, and then the wave after that, we're going to complete this set in no time. Boom. And then there's Storm, who it's like, yeah, we've been doing Street Fighter for many years now. We've done a handful of characters. We're going to do more? Maybe. I don't know. Either way, when we do, there'll be about $100. And it's like, oh, Storm, come on. You gotta dance with who brung you. You gotta finish the Street Fighter line. You gotta finish the Mortal Kombat line. Instead, you're diving into King of the Fighters 2002 Unlimited Match? What? Stop it. I don't know why you're making these decisions. Maybe it's a licensing thing. Maybe it's a money thing. I get it. There's economic reasons behind these things, but I don't care about that. I care about cool Street Fighter figures. And I want to see more of them from you. Because if you don't bring them, people are going to go over to Jada, and they're going to save a lot of money doing it. Speaking of saving money, McFarlane are going back to the well with some of their old figures, releasing them as 2-packs. This time we've got She-Spawn and Cygor. Is She-Spawn the right word, the right name? I'm gonna say She-Spawn. I'm gonna go full Sean Connery on that. Cygor and She-Spawn. And look, I love the Cygor figure, but I will be the first to admit I'm a Cygor apologist. I know that figure has huge flaws to it. I know the articulation is not great. I know that he has a big rubber monkey nappy. All the problems that people have with McFarlane figures are fully on display here with Cygor. But at the same time, he's a giant cyborg monkey. Gorilla, whatever. The point is, he looks wicked. Just sat there on your shelf. So cool. So I love him. The She-Spawn I'm not such a big fan of, but I do love the recolor on Cygor as well. Very Evangelion. A lot of metallic purple and metallic green. I wonder if that was intentional or if it was just a happy coincidence. I feel like there might be a little bit of a tip of the hat to Evangelion there. So I love the look of it. I'm not going to buy the 2-pack just to get a slightly different colored Cygor. The original one is fine, but at least this is unlike the Batwoman 3-pack. Because I got so many mixed messages on that 3-pack in the comments. Some people saying it's all reuse. Some people saying the Batgirl or the Batwoman is new. So I don't know. I think the Batwoman is new, which makes that 3-pack a bit egregious. Whereas with this, it's 2 old figures So if you don't have them and you want them, you can get them. If not, that's fine. It ain't hurting nobody. And yeah, I'm always going to have time for giant cyborg gorillas. They'll always have a little place in my heart. Fresh Monkey Fiction Operation Monster Force. This is a new line that well, I say a new line. We're getting the second season, second wave, so to speak. Actually, it's listed as second season, so there you go. I knew I was getting that terminology from somewhere, staring me in the face on my computer screen. Operation Monster Force. This is something I love. First of all, $34.99, available at Big Bad Toy Store. So there's so much lore behind these action figures. That's what I really, really love. There's whole write-ups and backstories and histories of these Operation Monster Force characters that make them so fun. I love gloriously awesome action figures, but then when you tie in some cool creative lore to go with them, there's reasons why they look this way and have these powers or these effects or all this deco. It's just great, and this is no exception. There's so much you can find out about Lieutenant Griffin, the Eraser. And yeah, you can go and read the wikis, or TNI News have a write-up on there, or just go straight to Monster Force. It's something that is just, you know, it's made with a lot of passion. This is made by comic book and action figure fans who want to make a badass, awesome line of monster soldiers. And they're doing it. And every one that they do looks wicked. So this looks like the same kind of quality you would expect from one of the high-end G.I. Joes or Valorverse type figures. I want to get one in hand. I really do. I want to see how they hold up, because right now they look amazing. And also, yes, $35 is more expensive, but you see how much you're getting with all this? All the different translucent parts. You've got all the different hands, and then you've got translucent versions of them too, with the head as well, the straps, the goggles. Man, Monster Force guys, you're killing it. I'm really quite stoked on this line.
And now we have the 1/6 scale 3-0 Cobra Commander.
It's not bad Cobra Commander voice. I gotta work on it a little bit, because it does vary between Cobra Commander and Starscream. I mean, it makes sense that it would do, but yeah, that needs a little bit of honing. But we're getting there. And 3-0, they've got there already. Look at this 1/6 scale Cobra Commander. Again, Hot Toys kind of style. You want someone to go with your 1/6 scale Destro? Well, here he is. He just looks glorious. I'm so impressed with this guy. Again, like with Destro, there's no human face. So there's no uncanny valley. There's nothing to look at and go like, it looks good, but like not quite right. No. They got it. His uniform being cloth goods, then the metallic looking mask, helmet, the cape as well. He's got the Cobra staff. Yeah, I'm really taken. I'm really taken by this guy. I know that Mezco do some smaller G.I. Joes. If they made a Cobra Commander like this in 1/12 scale, oof, suit you, sir. But yeah, if these guys decided to take over the world, at least they would be doing it in style. Because Cobra Commander in these duds right here, yeah. He looks wicked. I'm very impressed with this dude. Let me just see how much he costs. I'm going to guess like $150 maybe. That seems to be the going rate. $149.99. There you go. Available from Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store. Go check him out. And to wrap things up for action figure news, Ramen Toys coming in for the save. So, the NECA Ninja Turtles Sewer Lair diorama, widely been considered overpriced. I said that I thought it was reasonable, then a lot of people told me how incredibly wrong I was. I'm not going to say either way now. It was my fault for stating an opinion, I guess. But no, in hindsight, genuinely, I understand. I think that NECA Sewer Lair caught me at the perfect time where I was getting so tired and burnt out and frustrated trying to build my own diorama that if someone went, here you go, Dave, $300, it's all done, I probably would have gone like, yeah, okay, thanks very much. In hindsight, though, I appreciate that's a difficult pill to swallow considering how much the street scene costs, which is so much more for so much less. I get it. And also, Ramen Toys get it. And they were like, oh, well, if you guys don't want to pay $300, how about 150 to 180? Now this is just spitballing here. This is just their gauging interest. But Ramen Toys, when they deliver big. So Ace at Ramen Toys has shown these mock-ups. This is one picture. There's a whole bunch of them of what they could potentially do if there's enough interest in them doing a Ninja Turtles sewer lair. I dare say the answer is yes, there is interest. And they're showing how they would make it the same size and scale as the NECA Street Scene diorama so it can fit directly underneath it, all be incorporated together. Whew. Ramen Toys, come on man, when the big boys don't give us what we want, that's where we need the independent guys, and dang it, you're winning the battle for hearts and minds with this one. Let's see if we can make this come to fruition, because if we do, that's going to be an awesome piece. And folks, that does it for action figure news, but we're not done yet for good news. So if you're watching over on Patreon, then we're going to go into all the other news of the day, including Mortal Kombat, video game news, Spider-Man being evil in comics, and what's going to happen with the Thunderbolts movie. There's a whole lot of stuff still to talk about. So guys, if you're on Patreon, we're going to dive on into that now. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, then God bless you for supporting the channel. Hit that like button. It does help out the algorithm from what I understand. I don't know if it does, but hey, it's there for a reason, am I right? So gang, thank you very much for watching. Time for the Patreon exclusive stuff now, but if you're signing off, then thank you for your time. And until next time, I did the click at the wrong time. Until next time, there you go. Keep displaying model behavior.